Good morning, good evening, good day, good night, wherever you are in the world. I am Tim for Speed Force Racing, round 2 of the GP4 series, Bahrain Grand Prix, coming at you very soon. And I am here with my co-commentator, Senna. How are you doing here tonight?
I'm doing very good. How are you doing yourself?
Doing very well, and for those of you who may not know, yes, his real name is Senna. I, too, had to do a double take, but his name is, in fact, Senna, named after the legendary Ayrton Senna, of course. At least I would hope so. I don't know any other Senna that's out there.
Me neither. So, yeah. Yeah, it is a name of the Ayrton, so, yeah, it's pretty cool.
So here in just a moment, we'll be getting our qualifying session underway. So far, no drivers out on track. They're just sitting there waiting, getting the last adjustments put on their cars before the Parc Fermé rules kick in. It looks like there is going to be a Renault being the first one to blink, if I am not mistaken. Let's wait and see here. Looks like there's a few drivers going out on track now.
There's a funny thing in GP4. Shadow Lancer is always the first one out on track, but it seems like he just got beaten by Durant.
That he did. The Alfa Romeo of Durant actually out on track first. There you see the Williams of Shadow Lancer having to be second out on track this time. However, it's not where you start. It's not even where you enter the track. It's where you finish, and that is the important part. So Shadow Lancer going to be going for the pole position, but so is about 18 other drivers in this field.
What we saw last week is that it is a very close field of drivers pace-wise, so it's going to be a really battling for that pole position with everyone.
So to refresh our viewers on last week's results, Senna, I'll let you take it away and just remind everybody where everyone's finishing and what the point standings are looking like.
So it was DJ Clarkson finishing first last week with Bannister just behind him. Psychomich took that bronze place, the third position. It was Energy Dan in P4, Shuab in P5, Shadow Lancer finished P6, Fanny Lion P7 and Pro Oliver P8. It was Schnellweg on P9 and Racing Punch finished the top 10 with the point for the fastest lap. So he is equal on points with Schnellweg. P11 was Kavir Torpedo, P12 was You Can Beat Me, P13 was Lizens, P14 was Sonic Hawk, P15 was Hooky, P16 was Durant, P17 was Lumbumbas, P18 was Kenzo, P19 was Fuad, and P20 was Jaisalodian, who is replaced today by Mason Harris as a reserve.
Yeah, so very unfortunate that he can't be here, but welcoming Mason Harris here tonight. So in that Renault, let's see what he can do. However, first we're going to take a look at the first driver that was on track, Durant, in the Alfa Romeo. Going to ride on board with him as he's just now exiting Sector 1. We'll see if he can set the time to beat and if he can hold it through the whole session. So just going through Sector 2 now, approaching the very, very difficult Turn 10, that very tight left-hander. Personally, I hate that, but hey, Durant got through there pretty well, so good job on him.
Only was a little bit wide on the exit, just touching that curb. That not gives you the perfect exit for the corner.
Certainly not, but it's a lot better than spinning and hitting the inside wall, which unfortunately is what I've done more times than I care to admit. So we're seeing that Durant has selected the soft tires. Most drivers going out on soft tires. However, I'm also seeing a little bit of mediums out there as well. So perhaps we're going to see a little bit of a mixed strategy here today in this 19 car field. Almost a full car field. So going to be a good race here. Durant crosses the line. His time is a 1:27.3. So that is the time to beat. And Shadow Lancer putting a 1:28.882 on the mediums. So that's a pretty quick time, especially for the medium tires. Lizens, 27, getting the fourth fastest time. Fifth now with a 1:30.563. Mason Harris, the reserve driver, in fourth, a 1:29.0. Durant still on top of the board, though, as a lot of drivers now starting to get their times in.
Yeah, a lot of drivers also going on to mediums, but the gap between mediums and softs is quite big on this track. So probably they just want to do that, or they want to do it one stop. That's a possibility, or they just want to have a feeling to have on this track.
So what would be your preferred strategy around this track? Would you rather start, like say you're starting outside the top 10, would you try to go for the reverse strategy and maybe go to medium softs or hard softs? or would you try to just start on softs and see where it takes you from there?
I think I would start on softs because there's also there's a possibility that there's going to be safety cars or other things that happen during the race, or other just things you don't see on in front of it. Well, Oliver has a little spin where Vettel had it last year. But I think I would go for the two-stop. I think a one-stop is just too slow because it's not a very long pit lane either.
Well, we'll see which strategy will be able to prevail tonight, as Energy Dan now setting the fastest time, a 1:26.584 for Energy Dan, so that's almost a full second faster than Durant.
That's a very good lap of Energy Dan, who also showed us his pace last week, finishing in P4, just outside of the podium positions.
So would you say that Energy Dan is one to watch here this season in GP4?
He will be. I don't really think he's going to be there for the first few races to win it, but he's certainly there to pick up big points and maybe even to pick up a pole position there somewhere.
Well, the thing about championships is that it's all about consistency. So with Energy Dan finishing P4 last week, so far he's looking fairly good. It's not a podium, it's not a win, but it's not a bad day at all. And just looking at Racing Podge, who is currently the fifth fastest, a 1:28.2, but he has invalidated his second lap here, so he's going to have to pull into the pits and maybe put on a fresh set of tires and try that again. But nonetheless, fifth place, not a bad time for him. Going to take a look at Bananister in the Racing Point machine now.
Yeah, the purple first sector, so maybe he can put a good time in.
Apologies to those watching the stream, having a little bit of issues with this new game in F1 2020 and choosing the camera angles, but we're going to figure that out momentarily as Bannister sits the fourth fastest time, a 1:27.632 on the softs. So as you said, he had a purple first sector, so apparently it paid off for him. It's not quite the fastest time, but it's a good time nonetheless.
Shui up on his mediums, he's going for a second lap on them, and he is improving 4 tenths in the first sector.
Who did you say?
Shui up, and P5 currently, the Red Bull driver.
All right, we'll take a look at him now, right on board with him. As you said, second lap on the mediums. Best time so far at 1:27.860 for the Red Bull driver. Just over 10 minutes remaining here in this session. 10 minutes, 50 seconds to be exact. So plenty of time for these drivers to pit, put on fresh tires, and go out again. However, most of our drivers have a time on the board. In fact, the only one who does not have a time is Snellweg, the McLaren down there in 19th, but he is on his flying lap now and on medium, so we'll take a look at him here in just a moment. But first, we're going to watch Shu finish his lap. Will he go into the pits, or will he go one more time? He's going to stay out there. He's in the DRS zone, so he'll cross the line, and fourth fastest time, a 1:27.531 for Shu.
That is a very good time on the mediums. Snellweg now finishing his lap, just like you said, he's got P5. Wow, just behind Chip. That's very close between the two drivers.
1:27.589 for Snellweg. And as you said, a good time on the mediums for Shu and Snellweg both. I'm actually very impressed, if I do say so myself. I'm almost wondering if maybe some of these drivers should think about starting on the mediums, because they seem to have decent pace here.
It's all going to depend on other drivers going onto the softs, because also a lot of drivers behind them set a time on the mediums. If they all go on the softs and beat that time, they won't be in that good position anymore.
Currently watching You Can Beat Me in the Renault. He's on his out lap, but he's about to start his flying lap now. So far, he is the third fastest on the board at 1:27.462. Though going through the final few corners, he slowed down just a little bit. Almost thought he was going to pit, but he is going to stay out. He has activated the DRS, so he's going to start his flying lap. He's on the soft tires now. So we're going to see what he does as he goes down into turn one. Let's see if he can make some purple sectors here, or if he's going to have to settle for third. But we've got just over 9 minutes remaining in this session, so we've got plenty of time for things to shake up. On board with the Renault driver of You Can Beat Me. Going through Sector 2 now. These very tricky S sections.
He improved around 1/10 in the first sector, so so possibly he can beat Durant, but it's not looking like he has faith of Energy Dan at the moment.
Going through that tight left-hander now. A very good exit, actually, out of that corner. Maybe not the best entry, but I think that was a pretty solid corner, if I do say so myself. Shadow Lancer setting the third fastest time, a 1:27.4 in that Williams.
Seeing some good times, but we're not seeing someone currently really coming close to that time of Energy Dan, so looking the better and better for him.
Yeah, and with Energy Dan's time being almost a full second quicker than Durant, it's really going to be hard to beat. And it's not that it's impossible. It's just going to be very difficult. But just as I say that, You Can Beat Me crosses the line and gets the second quickest time, only about 0.3 off of Energy Dan's time with a 1:26.831. So his name may be You Can Beat Me, but I'm almost wondering if not a lot of drivers are going to be able to beat him tonight, as he's going to be one of the fast ones to watch.
Racing Parch just set purple first sector, improving 0.4 on his previous time. The Ferrari driver currently on P11, so he'll be looking to go up many places. Also one of the guys I expect a lot from today.
Currently his best time, a 1:28.2, so let's see if he'll be able to improve on that here. About to finish up the second sector. You got to be really careful on this right-hander. It's a fast right-hander, but if you clip that curb, you might be in for a bad time, because if you hit it wrong, then you're going to be spinning and your lap is done. But he did get a purple second sector there, so now he's just got to make the third one purple, and he might be golden. Going through the final two corners now. Racing Page in the Ferrari. When he crosses the line, his time will be a 1:26.5. Pole position for Racing Page. So what do you think of that, Senna? That is a good time from him, and finally someone being able to challenge Energy Dan up there.
Yeah, indeed, it's a very good time. They were teammates last season, Energy Dan and Racing Parch, so they probably know each other. And watching now to the current teammate of our Racing Parch, Sonic Hawk, who sets a purple second sector on his soft tires. Currently in P13, can he be the one to come close to the first two drivers? See what his time gonna be.
Riding on board now with the Racing Point driver. There we see Fanny Lyon getting out of the way. Good sportsmanship there, letting the Racing Point driver make his qualifying lap without being held up. So that's always good to see. Good sportsmanship here in the Speed Force Racing League. So we're getting some comments on the stream here in YouTube, and apparently there is a Shu fan out there. Someone says he's here to support Shu, so I'm sure he'll be happy to hear that. However, right now as we watch Bannister, he crosses the line, 7th quickest time, a 1:27.279. So we got just under 5 minutes remaining in this qualifying session, and so far the time to beat was set by Racing Page in the Ferrari, a 1:26.507. Second is Energy Dan, a 1:26.584. Then third is Sonic Hawk, 1:26.649 for the Ferrari driver. So it's a Ferrari, AlphaTauri, and then Ferrari, top three at the time being. But we've got 4 minutes for that to change, and a lot of drivers I'm seeing now are going out on their probably going to be their final flying lap.
Only Forward and Hooky currently out on the mediums. Everyone else will be going for that last run on the soft tires.
And Forward actually went very wide and invalidated his lap time. So he is not going to be happy there. If he wants, he might still have a chance to be able to pit and put on a fresh set of tires and get a lap in, but it's going to be very close.
And maybe he just wants to start with that one-stop strategy, sorry. And that is going to be very difficult if you start in the top 10 on the soft tires.
Well, we'll see if it'll work for him. Looks like he was having a little bit of an issue there with a Mercedes. I believe that was PR Oliver. That it was. PR Oliver, who was on his flying lap, got held up by the McLaren. So I'm sure that PR Oliver is not going to be happy with that, especially with him sitting in P19 with a 1:44.9. So PR Oliver just not being able to get some good times here in the qualifying session today. He's going to pit, likely to put on a fresh set of softs. He's got plenty of time, but only just to put on a fresh set of softs and get back out there. So let's see if PR Oliver can do that and improve on his lap time. But while he is choosing his tires, we are going to take a look at Fouad in the McLaren on those medium tires, because it looks like he's going to try to go for at least one more lap. Did not invalidate his time that time around. So riding on board with the McLaren driver, we'll see what he can do. 2 minutes, 45 seconds remaining.
Shuya finishing his lap, currently the highest on the mediums, and only goes fourth fastest on the soft tires, so that will be qualifying over for him with a 26.7, currently up to P4.
So that's a good time for Shu. His fans in the chat will definitely like that, and in fact, one of them is even predicting that Shu is first, Racing Pod second, and Energy Dan third. We're going to see if that prediction holds up at the end of this race, but first we got to finish the qualifying session, and I'm still monitoring the situation with PR Oliver. It does not look like he has came back out on track just yet. I almost wonder if he's deciding that his qualifying session is done. Still watching Fouad as he is driving through the final two corners now, but he has invalidated his lap, so he's not going to be able to set a time, so he's going to pull into the pits. I think it's done for him. Going to take a look now at Fanny Lyon in the Red Bull. A 1:28.157 is his best time so far. That's only good enough for 13th, so he'll be looking to improve on that. He's on his outlap now, so he's got time to make it back around and make one final shot at the pole position, but he's going to have to improve significantly if he wants to challenge for pole, because Racing Pod still has the time to beat a 1:26.507.
1.5 minutes remaining. Everyone now from the top spots on an outlap or on a time lap already. Bannister, DJ Clarkson in P8 and P9 deciding to stay in the pits, so they won't be putting in another lap.
Going to take a look now at a driver who we have not really talked about much in this session. Sykomich in 7th. He's in the Haas machine there. His best time, a 1:27.1. He's on his outlap now, so he's going to try to get out there and make one final time. And it looks like he's going to have plenty of time to make the line, as he only has 2 more corners to go. So we'll monitor Sykomich, see what he does. Few drivers out there actually trying to set some time. So going to go back and take a look at Fanny Lyon, because he has already started his flying lap. Riding on board with him, he's about to enter the second sector now.
Nowak putting in a fastest second sector. He is about to finish his lap in the next few seconds. Can this be the lap for provisional pole position, maybe? He's now in P11. What will it be for Snelweg? It will be provisional pole position. A 26.4 for Snelweg in the McLaren.
Wow, a very impressive time for Snelweg. There's going to be some drivers, though, that's going to be challenging for that. However, I'm not seeing any purple sectors for Fanny Lyon just yet. We're going to see when he crosses the line here in just a little bit. Well, the line to end Sector 2, rather. And see if he is able to get a purple Sector 2 or not. Watching this Red Bull out of Sector 2 now. It is a purple Sector 2, so let's see if he can challenge Snelweg up there for the pole position, as all he's got is one long straightaway and 2 more corners to go.
Energy Dan is not improving enough at the moment to take that pole position away from Snelweg.
And Fanny Lyon, he rockets to the pole position, a 1:26.395 for the Red Bull driver.
Energy Dan needs to improve a lot in the last sector if he wants that pole position. What will it be for Energy Dan? P2, just not fast enough, 6,000 of a second too slow. What will it be for Sonic Hawk?
And that's gotta hurt, because that is such a small margin between Fanny Lyon and Energy Dan.
Racing Porsche with a purple second sector. He is 2/10 off on his time. This is looking... Oh! Pro Oliver of provisional pole. 26.1 for him. The last one who's going to be able to be there is Racing Porsche, but he's going back to the pit lane. So that's going to be it for qualifying.
Yep, so what you see is what you get. PR Oliver setting the fastest time, a 126.151 over Fanny Lyon's 126.395. So over 0.2 of a second improvement there, or just about anyway. So good job on PR Oliver. He started the session. He was the last driver, I believe, or one of the last drivers to set a time, and there for a while he was actually dead last with a 144, but it just goes to show that he definitely had some more left in that tank, because he rocketed to the pole position. It looks like a few drivers are just going to finish off their laps. Shuab looks like he's on a flying lap. But the question is he going to have enough time to make it back around before that timer runs out? That I do not know, so we're going to have to wait and see there.
I don't think so.
Yeah, the more I see that timer click down, I don't think he's going to make it, because he's only in Sector 2 now. He'd have to really turn up the pace, and I don't even think it's possible at this point, because there at the end of the straightaway, it was almost a minute. So with the lap times being about 1:26 here, he just doesn't have enough time.
He was not improving in Sector 1 neither, so this will be the qualifying positions for the race.
Well, it looks like Shuab is going to line up in 8th with a 126.7, but that's not going to stop him from getting about 10 more seconds worth of practice here. And to be fair, he at least made it to Sector 3, and he made it to the long straightaway. It was just he was 2 corners shy, or is going to be 2 corners shy, of actually being able to finish that lap. So there you have it. Qualifying is over. There you see the Red Bull of Shuab, who is going to be lining up in the 8th position for the Bahrain Grand Prix for the GP4 Series in the Speed Force Racing League. Your official qualifying classifications is PR Oliver in 1st, Fanny Lyon in 2nd, SFR Energy Dan in 3rd, Snellweg in 4th, Racing Podge in 5th, Sonic Hawk in 6th, You Can Beat Me in 7th, Shu in 8th, 9th is Hooky, Durant in 10th, Shadowlancer in 11th, Psychomich in 12th, Bannister in 13th, DJ Clarkson in 14th, Mason Harris, the reserve driver, in 15th in that Renault, Foad in the McLaren 16th, Lumbumbus 17th, Lizens 18th, Kenzo 19th. That is rounding out our starting grid for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Here in just a few minutes' time, we will be getting underway, but I'm going to ask you now, Senna, who is your top 3 for tonight?
I have to stay with the top 3 I said earlier. I think Shuab is going to win it in front of Sonic Hawk and Racing Podge.
All right, I think I'm going to go with Energy Dan, Racing Podge, and PR Oliver in any particular order.
We're gonna see maybe someone outside of the top 10 can surprise us. If someone out of the top 10 goes for a one stop and the strategy pays out perfectly, even the guy that's starting last can win this race.
And we'll see if that could happen, because the thing about racing strategies is there's really not a bad strategy as long as it works. If it doesn't work, then obviously it looks terrible. But if you can make 10 stops work, then by all means, go ahead and do it. I just don't see a scenario where that's possible. So we'll see if the winner will make it on a one-stop strategy or a two-stop. Session's going to start here in just a moment. We'll get the formation lap underway, and then we will be green for the race. There you see the predicted pit stop strategy. So the predicted is definitely a two-stop, so it's soft, then mediums. So we'll see if any drivers are going to follow that or not.
Mercedes on pole, it is something you kind of see every time when you watch it in real life as well.
Yeah, the silver arrows, or actually now in real life they are the black arrows, but nonetheless, they're definitely a staple up there on the front row of the grid. So PR Oliver just making sure that that carries over to the virtual world of esports. And then Red Bull in second, that's also a car that you're used to seeing up front at the grid. However, AlphaTauri with Energy Dan, he's giving them a really good day. Of course, pretty sure that this is equal performance, is it not? So that would explain a lot of it.
It's not, it's on equal performance indeed.
So to just update you and going down the grid, we got PR Oliver, Fanny Lyon, Energy Dan, Snellweg, Racing Podge, Sonic Hawk, You Can Beat Me, Shu, Hooky, Durant, Shadowlancer, Psychomich, Bannister, DJ Clarkson, who is apparently having some sort of issue as he's been disqualified from the race before it even started. So not sure what happened to DJ Clarkson. Unfortunate for him. Mason Harris, the reserve driver, in 15th. Fouad also disqualified in 16th. Lumbumbus, 17th. 18th is Lizens. 19th is Kenzo. We might be having some communication issues here with some drivers, so we'll have to wait and see what happens here.
They just reset to the starting grid because they made contact on the formation lap, so they don't are able to end the formation lap themselves. And they just reset to the grid, and they will be there for the race.
All right, well, that's good to hear for them at least. So we'll wait and see how this race fares as they go through Sector 3. PR Oliver, you see him there just warming up his tires. All the drivers warming up their tires, making sure that you get a lot of heat in there. Need plenty of heat cycles, but you also don't want to wear them down too much. You just got to make sure that they're at their optimal temperature, because if you send it off into turn 1 on cold tires, you're going to have a bad time.
That's it now, all the drivers lining up on the starting grid. I'll be taking a look for the start to the midfield somewhere. I guess you take us with the front guys.
Yep. So it's looking like a few drivers in the back are actually going for a reverse strategy. A lot of drivers on the mediums, but Psychomich and Kenzo on hard tires. So it looks like they're going to try to start on hards and go the distance and hold on to those tires for quite a while. So here we go. We'll see what happens. We are ready to go green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. No red lights. We are green for the Speed Force Racing GP4 Series Bahrain Grand Prix. And SFR Energy Dan getting a good start there, leaving PR Oliver in the dust. Energy Dan leads them down into turn 1 as we are 4th wide going into 1 with the McLaren. That was Snellweg part of that. Already a yellow flag and a lot of front wings getting damaged here, with Snellweg getting into contact with SFR Sonic Hawk. And it looks like PR Oliver, is that PR Oliver with wing damage?
A lot of guys picked up wing damage there. You see Energy Dan and Racing Forge both in front of all of us, so it can be that he has them because he already lost 3 positions.
Yeah, so Energy Dan taking advantage of a bad start by the pole sitter and taking the lead before he got to turn 1, so now he's just going to have to try to walk away with it.
Psychomich is around.
And the Mercedes of DJ Clarkson gets into the back of Mason Harris and almost spins him around. So obviously wing damage on DJ Clarkson. As you said, Psychomich has also went around, so he is relegated back to P19. Just having to watch as there's really no one in front of him. Lizens and Fouad now having a big battle there. A little bit of contact going into that corner, but they seem to have straightened things out. But I feel like there might be some wing damage on an Alfa Romeo after that. We're going to have to wait and see. It looks okay, but nonetheless, already on the first lap here of the Speed Force Racing GP4 Series, things are getting pretty hairy and pretty dicey pretty quickly.
Not into the pit lane, but he has got back into P2 now because Racing Podge is... What happened with Racing Podge? He's back to P4 now. No, he's not. I think I have some issues with my standings. It's quite strange. See Paul of P2, but he's certainly not on track, I think.
There might be a sync issue there, so unfortunate for that. However, according to my standings, and I believe them to be right, but we'll have to wait and see, is... In fact, no, they are not right either because it was putting Snellweg up to first. So, unfortunately, guys, we're going to have to bear with this. Sorry to the viewers at home watching this, but unfortunately, we cannot do anything about those technical difficulties. They are beyond our capabilities to fix. So, I do believe that still puts Energy Dan in the lead. In fact, yes, it does, followed by the Ferrari of what I assume to be Racing Podge. DJ Clarkson up there in first on my screen, but do note that he is not running in first in real time.
Only DJ Clarkson is playing wrong at the moment. He is currently driving into P17.
So going to ride on board with the Ferrari of Racing Podge because DRS is going to be active soon. Going through the final corner.
A little train starting to be alive from P3 to P7. or guys within DRS range, but it's very difficult sometimes to overtake in this game.
Riding on board with the McLaren of Snelweg as they send it down into turn 1. Snelweg trying to get close to Sonicock. Sonicock trying to stay within DRS range of Fanny Lion in the Red Bull there. So he will have the DRS. Snelweg, however, he also will have DRS, I'm pretty sure. So we'll see what happens there. Snelweg trying to stay close to Sonicock. Of course, Sonicock is a lot more closer to Fanny Lion, so we're going to take a look at that. Ferrari versus Red Bull here. It looks like Sonicock is a little bit quicker than Fanny Lion, so the Red Bull just struggling here at Bahrain early on. But so far, Sonicock just not close enough to be able to make a move.
And the best start was for Lumbumbas, who's currently in P11 under threat from Mason Harris. They're side to side into turn 9, I think it is. There's a 3-second time penalty for Lumbumbas as well for multiple warnings.
Yep, Stewart's word is law. Cutting the corner, that'll definitely get you a time penalty, so very unfortunate for Lumbumbas there as he actually, goes way off the track, goes very wide. Took too much head of steam through that corner there, so that is not going to help his case at all, that's for sure. Going to take a look now at Mason Harris, who is maybe closing in just a little bit on the Williams of Shadowlancer, so that's Lumbumbas' teammate there in the Williams of Shadowlancer. So Shadowlancer having a little bit of a better day than his teammate, but not by much, only running P10, but hey, that is in the points.
Seemed like Kenzo was struggling a lot with his braking in P14. He was struggling with the car, and maybe he's struggling on those hard tires.
Mason Harris, a good turn 1 and turn 2, gets underneath of Shadowlancer. Will he be able to clear him, though? Not quite yet. Shadowlancer, he is still there, trying to go around the outside, side by side, and wheel to wheel is the Ritto and Williams, and I think Shadowlancer is going to beat him out. Yes, he will, so Mason Harris going to have to settle for P11 for now.
Shea was able to get in front of Snelweg as well for P7, that is. And he is now behind Hooky. Just losing it a little bit to Sonicock 1.7 seconds.
Riding on board with Snelweg. Shuab going just a little bit wide there on the straightaway, but hey, he's still within the track, so not disobeying track limits, that's for sure. Going to take a look now at the battle between Mason and Shadowlancers. There's contact, and Mason goes around. He tried to pass Shadow on the inside, and he just couldn't quite do it, so Mason goes around. He is not going to be happy there, but unfortunately, that's just what happens when two race cars try to take on the same piece of real estate, so there may be some wing damage on that Renault. We're going to have to wait and see. We'll watch Mason Harris for just a minute, see if he decides to go into the pit lane this time or not. Running in P12 now might be the good time to pit, though, if there is an issue. At least he's got a very small gap to the cars behind him. But looks like he is going to stay out on track, so apparently no wing damage there, or at least not enough to warrant a pit stop for him. Going to take a look now at Hooky because Shuab has just passed him for the 6th position. Hooky in the AlphaTauri, he looks like he's dropping back, but still trying to stay within DRS range of Shu and maybe try to get close to him. And actually gains a lot of ground on entry to that corner there. So the Red Bull of Shuab having a lockup going into the corner, that's going to affect him definitely. But Shu still looks pretty fast here today.
Still racing Porsche was trying to follow Energy Dan, staying into the DRS range of his former teammate. But it seemed like Porsche is struggling a little bit, and there's someone off the track. I think it's Mason Harris. Yes, it is. Mason Harris into barriers.
Unfortunate for Mason Harris. Just one lap ago, he spun, and another lap later, here he spins again. Relegated back to P14, and to top it all off, a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. A bad day gets worse for Mason Harris. Unfortunate for him and the Renault driver. He is a reserve driver here tonight, but it's not the race that he wanted to have, so maybe later on in the season he'll be able to get another race under his belt and have a better day, but so far just not going to have a good day here. Going back to the battle for the lead between Racing Podge and Energy Dan. Racing Podge, though, has since lost a little bit of ground to Energy Dan. He's just, as you said, Senna, he's struggling to stay in the DRS range.
And also, be careful because Prolover is now closing down to Racing Podge, so maybe this battle of Racing Podge and Energy Dan could be a battle with 3 cars in the close future. While Sonicock gets in front of Fanny Lion for P4.
So our top 5 is an AlphaTauri of Energy Dan, the Ferrari of Racing Podge, the Mercedes of PR Oliver, the Ferrari of Sonic Hawk, and the Red Bull of Fanny Lion. Of course, the other Red Bull just behind him, Shu in 6th, Hooky in 7th, Snailweg 8th, You Can Beat Me in 9th, and Shadow Lancer in 10th. That's your top 10. That are the points runners at the moment after lap 6 of 29 here of the GP4 Series Speed Force Racing League Bahrain Grand Prix.
It just went on board with all the drivers in the top 6 currently, and no one of the drivers got any DRS left, so they're all literally pushing as hard as they can to keep the position they are in.
And someone who is pushing big time here is that driver in 6th of Shu, trying desperately to get by his teammate of Fanny Lion. He got a little bit loose a couple corners ago, but hanging on to it, and he does make the pass now, sending it into the final 2 corners, so moves Shu up into the 5th position.
That was a quite clear position switch of the Red Bull drivers. I think Shu is faster at the moment than Fanny Lion, and it is Racing Podge finding Energy Dan for the lead. Racing Podge made a move, but it's now looking like Energy Dan had a better exit into turn 2. And it is still Energy Dan into the lead, and for Oliver really closing down now.
Yeah, and PR Oliver sitting there in 3rd, as you said. He is going to enjoy watching this because that's going to allow him to close in on these drivers with them racing each other so hard like that. PR Oliver, though, just still not within DRS range of Racing Podge. I kind of wish he could get into DRS range, honestly. Then we could see a 3-car battle for the lead.
It also seems like Fanny Lion is struggling quite hard because also Hooky now is already past him, and Snellweg is close as well. There's also a question who is gonna be the one to undercut the other drivers, because the undercut is very powerful on this track because tire wear is very high, and Racing Podge loses it! That was very close to putting it into the barrier, so I think Racing Podge will be pitting this lap. Tire wear, just as I was saying, is very high, so maybe that even was a lap too late for Racing Podge to pit.
And he loses it again off of the final 2 corners, and he is going to go into the pit. So what happened there, Senna? I did not see what happened in the first incident with Racing Podge.
It was in the auto spin curb, but he didn't touch the curb. He just lost the back end, I think, because of the old tires. But it was very good from himself to keep him out of the barrier, because otherwise this race would have been over.
Definitely lost a little bit of time there.
Energy Dan has also pitted, so it is now the undercut attempt from Energy Dan on Pro Oliver.
Currently watching Shu and Sonic Hawk battle it out. Shu finally got by the Ferrari of Sonic Hawk, so move him up into the 2nd position. Shu looks like he's going forward on old tires, while Sonic Hawk is going back. Hooky in 4th now, just trying to chase down that Ferrari. Not sure, though, if Hooky's going to be able to do anything with him or not, because as we're at lap 8 and we've already seen some drivers pit, I would imagine that these soft tires are starting to reach the end of their life, so we won't see these drivers staying out for too much longer before they decide to make a pit stop.
Will Pro Oliver react to the pit stop of Energy Dan? Or is he maybe trying to push the soft still lap 12? We have yellow in sector 2. That seemed like it is Renault once again. Is it Mason Harris? No, it seems fine. Mason Harris just got caused by You Can Beat Me.
Riding on board with Mason Harris. He's trying to chase down his Renault teammate of You Can Beat Me. But he is on 7-lap old mediums, where You Can Beat Me is on fresh mediums. So Mason Harris definitely not having a good day. As we have seen, he's spun a couple times here and there. So it looks like a few pit stops are now starting, as I believe Shu is now in the pits. We'll take a look at him.
He got jumped by Sonic Hawk in the pit lane. So a very good pit stop of the Ferrari crew to put Sonic Hawk in front of Schlier.
So Sonic Hawk and Shu rejoining this race. Looks like it's going to be P7, P8 for both of them as they go down through turn 1. But now Snellweg and the McLaren, he's actually splitting the 2.
So that can be good news for Sonic Hawk to create a little gap if Snellweg can be able to hold up Schlier for a little bit. and Prolover stayed out, so that is interesting.
Now, Snellweg, he is on fresh soft tires, so looks to me like he's going to go on the two-stop strategy here tonight.
He will. And I know someone who is going to do a one-stop strategy, and that is Hooky in P2. I know he's going to try soft to mediums. Or I guess he's going to try it. Let me say it like that.
Now, I would imagine that around this track, and correct me if I'm wrong, that these soft tires, you might be able to get away with making them last 10 laps, maybe even 12, as you were saying, if you're very good on your tire wear. However, with the mediums, what would you say that they could realistically last? Because I would put them at, I don't know, maybe 15 to 18 laps?
Yeah, myself, I can do 15 laps on the mediums and around really max 10 laps on the soft, so one stop is not possible for me. But I know guys who really can do the soft to mediums work. And something I see now, Pro Oliver is onto the hards just as Hooky. So they are trying the one stop, but not soft to mediums, but soft to hards.
So PR Oliver
out, I think behind all those guys, yeah. So Pro Oliver just ahead of Sonic Hawk. Oh, Snellweg touches with Sonic Hawk. The Ferrari driver just stays in control. Racing Podge now on his way once again with Energy Dan. And it seems like Racing Podge made that move, going very wide, and a 3-second time penalty for that, for multiple warnings.
And that's the last thing that Racing Podge wanted to see here in this race. Running in second and now with a 3-second time penalty, that's going to even put his podium chances at risk.
It is, and Sonic Hawk now, just as Snellweg and Shuyap needs to get in front of Pro Oliver as fast as possible. So, Sonic Hawk is trying it around the outside, that's just going to be too far away. Now he's going to try to have a better exit on those mediums. Both drivers on almost equal ERS. Sonic Hawk will try it around the outside on Pro Oliver. Is he going to make the move stand? Pro Oliver locking up a little bit. It's Ferrari against Mercedes. Seems like Pro Oliver is still in front, but now Sonic Hawk down the inside. That's a very difficult place to be in. And Pro Oliver stays in P5. And Shuyap now goes in front of Sonic Hawk, and Sonic Hawk is trying the same thing. So instead of going a place up for Sonic Hawk, he lost one.
A big lock up there from PR Oliver, but so far hanging on to it very well. But PR Oliver actually, for a minute, I thought he was going into the pits. Looks like he was following Labumbus, but he actually stayed out, so good job on PR Oliver. I wouldn't see why he would want to go into the pits at this time. So Labumbus, though, getting a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, very unfortunate for him, so that's going to put his not-so-great day to a pretty much a bad day at this point.
Racing Podge seemed like he is faster at the moment than Energy Dan. Now out of DRS range of the AlphaTauri behind him.
Snellweg and Sonic Hawk, Racing Podge's Ferrari teammate there. They're having a little bit of a battle here. So we got a 4-car battle for what is essentially the 4th position here between PR Oliver, Shu, Sonic Hawk, and Snellweg. However, it's sort of like the two cars are starting to space out. So we got a 2-car battle for 4th and then a 2-car battle for 6th, as there was a little bit of contact there between Sonic Hawk and Snellweg, but I don't think it was enough to damage the front wing of that McLaren, thankfully, as now Snellweg going to try to look on the inside, but not able to make a move, not close enough just yet, so he's going to have to ride in a line behind that Ferrari, as Shu, though, is looking to make a move on PR Oliver, and I would say that Oliver is actually at a bit of a disadvantage at the time being on those hard tires because of the lack of pace that they have. The thing is, though, is PR Oliver is likely banking on them lasting a long time and being able to have some pace later on, and he's doing a good job at holding off Shu. So, you know, hats off to PR Oliver for hanging on to this car.
Yeah, the longer he can hold those guys on the mediums and softs up, the better it's going to be for his strategy, because Prova's going for the one stop. Doesn't need to pit again. All those guys behind him still need to pit. Racing Podge with another 3-second time penalty.
Yep.
That's the second one of today.
Yeah, and Snellweg going into turn 1 had a little bit too much of a head of steam and went very wide there, so Snellweg drops down to 7th behind Sonic Hawk. So unfortunate for that McLaren driver to lose so much ground like that, barely within DRS range, but I think he's going to be okay. It looks like he is starting to gain back on the Ferrari, so it looks like that McLaren is a little bit faster than the red car here today. Sonic Hawk, though, all up on the back of PR Oliver for 5th place now, but PR Oliver still doing a good job at hanging on to these guys. Of course, you saw Shu making the move into turn 1 and passing PR Oliver, so that puts Shu up into 4th. The Red Bull driver very fast here tonight, but Sonic Hawk in 6th, just still trying to reach that Mercedes back, but just can't quite get it, as PR Oliver must have got a good shot of DRS because he gained a significant amount of time on Shu that time around.
And Racing Pod just made the move back into the lead, passing Shadow Lancer, who is still out on those medium tires. So it is now Racing Pod, sorry, back into the lead of this race.
So Racing Pod, Shadow Lancer, Energy Dan, your top 3 after 13 of 29 laps. There you see Shadow Lancer. He was thinking about making a move, but he wasn't quite close enough. But he's using that DRS and the slipstream to try to get as close as possible. But I think that his tires are about to fall off, because there you see Energy Dan passing him now, or at least trying to. So the Williams driver of Shadow Lancer having an issue here with the 12-lap old mediums.
That's a very good switch back of Energy Dan. That's a perfect move into P2. I'm quite surprised of the pace that Peralva is showing on those hard tires. He is really keeping up with Shuyap, and he's not letting his Sonic Hawk get it too close to be in trouble of him. So I'm really surprised by Peralva.
PR Oliver showing today that he is a driver to beat. Maybe he's not in 1st, maybe he's not in the podium position, but he's running in 5th, which is still a good position nonetheless. Trying to catch Shu still, but don't think he's going to be able to do so, at least not for a while. You know, give it about 5 or 10 laps time when Shu's tires start to really show some age on it. I'd say that PR Oliver is going to be a lot easier to get around Shu, but at the time being, Shu on those new mediums just absolutely pulling away, but not by a huge gap, just enough to stay out of DRS range, or rather just enough for where PR Oliver can stay in DRS range, but just enough to where Shu can stay out in front of PR Oliver.
The thing that I'm seeing a lot from PR Oliver is locking up, so that won't be too good for the tire life.
Sonic Hawk now going to try to go on the outside of PR Oliver into turn 1. They are side by side. Who will win out on this? Maybe just a little bit of contact there.
Sonic Hawk. But the exit now for Oliver. This is a good fight. Oliver stays into P4 for the moment.
So Sonic Hawk in 5th now. PR Oliver in 4th, as it looks like Shadow Lancer has finally decided to pit, and he's pit for the hard tires. I would expect that with as long as he stayed out, that he would maybe pit for the softs instead, but maybe he knows something that I don't, and running in P11, he's still got a chance at points, so we'll see how Shadow Lancer does later on in this race, as you see another lockup there from the Mercedes of PR Oliver and the Ferrari of Sonic Hawk as well, so that's going to allow Snellweg to get just a little bit closer to that Ferrari. We'll see what he can do. He has the DRS, but I don't think he's going to be close enough to make a move just yet, but maybe in a lap or two's time. Of course, Snellweg on what is essentially old soft tires now, 5 laps on those soft tires. I'd say he's got about 5 or 6 laps more left in him, depending on how long that, how hard he's been running them. And of course, if we get a safety car, then that throws a lot of these guys' strategy out the window, and they're going to have to try something else.
Safety car is the thing that Prolover really need to avoid now, because at the moment he's only around 6 seconds away from the lead, and everyone around him still needs to pit. So he is in a very good position, just as Hooky in P7. I think they're both on for a possible podium run, while Snowweb makes a move on Sonic Hawk and tries to move it.
Side by side, Ferrari and McLaren. Sonic Hawk gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. You saw it there, cutting the corner in turn 2. So that puts Snellweg into 5th place, and Sonic Hawk having to follow that McLaren through.
I think now Prolover just lost the DRS range. He's trying to stay in it. It's becoming more difficult for him to stay up with Schwer in front.
And what I'm seeing from PR Oliver is, I think that he's got the brake bias turned down. So what it is that he's got the brake bias more focused on the front of the car so that he can really get on the brakes and help that thing turn into the corners, but at the risk of locking up, because I'm seeing a lot of lockups from that Mercedes.
Racing Porsche with another 3-second time penalty from modern warning, so that is not good for our current leader. That's already 9 seconds for him. That's gonna make it very difficult for him to keep that lead at the end of the race.
So with time penalties, I believe that that would put Energy Dan in first, Shu in second, and Oliver in third.
It would.
So already big developments here. Now, Racing Podge, who looks like Energy Dan is actually... No, in fact, Energy Dan is not challenging him because he's already passed him because Racing Podge is going to make his second stop of the night.
That's very interesting, the Racing Podge going on to the hards. I think that's, for myself, that's a kind of wrong choice. I think mediums for 13 laps would have been better. But maybe Podge is going to show us something that I don't know yet. But he's gonna come out in P10.
See, I actually agree with you here, Senna, is that I would imagine that he would choose the mediums because it's such a difference in pace between the hards and the mediums that I think that it'd just be better for him if he could hang on to the mediums, not to mention that at least, I don't know about you and I don't know about Racing Podge, but for myself, I have issues with hards.
Hooky is round. Don't interrupt you, but Hooky is round on those hard tires. And he's gonna lose a lot of time with that. I don't see damage. But that's not gonna be good for that possible podium position.
See, so apparently Hookie's in the same boat as me where he struggles on hard tires sometimes as he spun it around. Was there contact or did he just loop it around on his own?
I don't know. I was just switching through and I saw Hooky going towards the wall. But I don't think there was contact because I don't see any damage for Hooky. I think it just was, yeah. I have the same problem as you a little bit. I always struggle a little bit on the hards to keep them in the temperature and to keep them as fast as I can. Well, we have a spinner on the auto spin cup. Is that Durant? Yes, it is.
So Durant off the track. Did not see what happened there. Now it looks like there's a battle between Fanny Line and Snellweg. In fact, no, Snellweg is just in the pits making his final stop of the night. So Snellweg going on the medium tires, the strategy that you and I are really seeming to prefer here at the moment. So Snellweg on the mediums, we'll see what he can do with it as he's going to enter the track in, I believe, P10, just ahead of the Mercedes of DJ Clarkson. As Clarkson is heading down into turn 1 now, just behind Snellweg. Clarkson going... actually not going wide at all, hanging on to that car and doing a very good job at getting it slowed down to go through turn 1. So Snellweg officially in P10 at the time being on those fresh mediums. He will likely be going the distance and not having to make another pit stop, assuming that there's not a safety car, because if there is a safety car, I am going to predict that you're going to see a lot of drivers pit.
It will be, and it's still Pro Oliver in the ultimate position if you ask me. Only 2.5 seconds behind the lead now on the hard tires that don't need to pit again. It's really gonna ask something from Suyap and Energy Dan to get that first and second position there after the second pit stop.
I do believe that PR Oliver at the time being, he is going to be the one to watch, and he might even be the one beat, because with Energy Dan, 8 laps, now 9 laps on those mediums. Shu with 8 laps on those mediums, and PR Oliver with 7 laps on the hards. Not only does he have the newer tires of the top 3, but he also has the ones that will go the longest. So I don't doubt that Energy Dan and Shu can make it to the end. The problem is, what are their tires going to be feeling like once they get to that time? Because Energy Dan, when we get to the end, that'll be 20 laps on those medium tires, and without a safety car, that is really going to put a spanner into his strategy. And it might work for him, and it might work very well for him if, say, he was 2 or 3 seconds in the lead right now. But considering that Shu is just 9/10 of a second and closing on Energy Dan at the time being, I think that that's going to make things very difficult for that AlphaTauri driver. However, with Shu having only 1 lap newer tires, that's going to make things very difficult for him when it gets to the end. So I really think that the hards are the way to go here. At least when PR Oliver pitted it, hards were the way to go, and I think that he's going to be the one to beat. However, even when he catches him, and if he catches him, he's still got to pass him, so this thing isn't over yet.
No, it's Snellweg just goes in front of Seto Lance on those fresh medium tires against those 3-up old hard tires. And it seems like Racing Porsche is not even really closing down on Hooky in front, so I really think those hard tires were the opposite option for him. Yellow in sector 1, that's a Renault, and it's once again Mason Lewis. He has to watch out now because he's just in front of Bannister on track.
And Shu making a move for the lead now going into turn 1. Shu in the Red Bull. He will clear Energy Dan. So move Shu up into the first position. Energy Dan back to second, but he's not going to let it go easily. He's got the DRS, and he is using the slipstream, and he is right up on the back of Shu, but they are also about to approach lap traffic. Who is that? That is a McLaren of Fouad. So is the Fouad going to play a factor here, and these drivers catch lap traffic and therefore have to deal with that, or will he just be able to move away and out of the way of these leaders at a good spot on the racetrack and not affect them at all? However, I know that what's going through these drivers' mind, they are definitely concerned. Their Shu goes by him, Energy Dan going by him as well. Now that might have affected Energy Dan just a little bit, causing him to not get the best line through the corner. And Pierre Oliver, he's getting held up as well.
That is the dangerous thing of a driver that is lagged out or just left the session. That car of Fouad is really dangerous for the drivers now. It seemed like Energy Dan already lost the gap a little bit to Shui up.
So I'm sure Energy Dan is not happy with how that played out at all, but I'd say PR Oliver is just a little bit more heated than Energy Dan is. Energy Dan, though, he is definitely flirting with the DRS zone, but he's not quite there. It's constantly changing, but now down to 1.2 seconds separating him and Shu, so I don't think that it's going to be enough. However, PR Oliver, he does have DRS, so we're going to ride on board with him and see what he can do, see if he can close the gap on Energy Dan as they go to turn 1. He does, but not by much, not at all actually, and a lockup there on the right front of PR Oliver in the Mercedes. So going through turn 2, let's see what happens.
That is the listens into the barriers.
Who was in the barriers? Listens, you said?
The listens in P17, also on those hard tires, so it seemed like indeed the hards are quite difficult to manage.
Yeah, very difficult indeed. And there he locks it up again and goes off track. So Listen's just not having a good day.
It seems like Prolover is really now closing in on Energy Dan. Those hard tires seem like to be the better option at the moment.
Just 7
when are we going to see Shui up and Energy Dan pitting? 9 laps remaining. It is possible from now on to go onto the soft tires.
Riding on board with Sonic Hawk there for just a moment. Thought that there was a battle for position, but it just turned out he was making the move on that lapped car of Fouad. So Sonic Hawk 5.2 seconds behind PR Oliver in that Mercedes, who is about to get DRS and might be making a move on Energy Dan soon.
Boomba's lost for a moment in sector 2. Also on the hard tires.
And Energy Dan goes into the pits, so his day is, well, not done, but his podium chances might be. We'll have to wait and see. He's going on the soft, so depending on the gap that he had, he might still have a shot, because I do believe that the softs can last the rest of the race. The problem is he going to be able to make his way back up to third or not? I don't believe so, as it looks like he's going to be entering the track in P7. However, what he can do is go for that fastest lap.
A very long way now back again to the podium position. It's going to be very difficult. But both P3 and P4s, just as Shui up, still need the pits. So nothing lost yet for Energy Dan.
Still a lot of lockups from PR Oliver as he is just trying to drive hard to catch you. And DJ Clarkson setting the fastest lap, a 129.8 for that Mercedes driver. His Mercedes teammate running in second, just 2 seconds behind Shu, and I know that he'd rather it be about 0.2 of a second so he could get some DRS and get by him. But those hard tires on PR Oliver looking very good right now, as Shu's tires, 11 laps on those mediums, they're probably okay for now, but they might be starting to show a little bit of age. And I actually am willing to wager that that is what's happening, because PR Oliver is closing in on Shu just a little bit despite all the lockups that he's having going into these corners. It's mainly the right front that I'm seeing lock up on PR Oliver, so I'd say that that right front tire is not happy. I'd say that the tire wear is still fine, but the right front just isn't happy.
Yeah, the tire wear at the moment is fine, I think, but how is it going to be in 7 laps time? That's a good question. So hards can do it, soft hards, it is possible. But you need to be aware of your tires, and from what I'm seeing from Pro Oliver, he's not really doing that at the moment.
Yeah, he's just trying to drive hard, trying to get into the DRS zone. I'd say that he's running overtake around this whole racetrack if he can.
Lumbumbas once again spun. Shuya paid out just for something like a funny line, so I'm wondering when they're gonna pit again, because I really don't see them going to the ends on those mediums. Oh, you really have to surprise me with that then.
I think Vanny Lion is going to try to go to the end on the mediums just because of where he's running now. Running in fourth, I think that he's got enough of a gap to where even if he does drop back, even if Hookie is able to get by him, that I think Vanny Lion could still realistically finish in 6th or 7th at the very least.
Yellow sector 1, we have a virtual safety car. Lumbumbas is out of the race. Where did that happen? That's a very strange place to crash. I think he lost traction then in turn 2. Yeah, he probably lost traction in turn 2. Hit the barrier, but a virtual safety car, not a full one. Full safety car, that would have been spicy.
That it would have. However, look at this. Shu has pitted for the soft tires, as has Sonic Hawk. So Hookie going to rejoin this race in 3rd because Shu is actually rejoining in 2nd, but 19 seconds behind PR Oliver. So if I was PR Oliver, I would be considering a pit stop because he almost, not quite, but almost has a free stop.
Sonic Hawk, drive-through penalty. Speeding under VSC. Once again, Sonic Hawk is... just as last week, he is just braking under the pressure. But speeding under virtual safety car, shoot up the back of Hookie. It will be very difficult for Hookie to hold that podium, but he's gonna try it. But it seems like Pro Oliver played the perfect game strategy-wise today.
Yeah, PR Oliver definitely in a good position. 16 seconds in the lead. He can take it easy now because he might just be a shoe-in for this win. As there you see Shu making a move on Hookie on the inside. Those fresh softs really coming to life, and he made that move with relative ease, and he's pulling away even easier. Look at that. Shu is trying to eat into that gap to PR Oliver, but with only 7 laps remaining, I just don't see Shu gaining 16 seconds. I don't see him gaining 6 seconds on PR Oliver. So the only chance that Shu has got to win this race now is a full safety car, and I'm just not sure if that's going to happen.
Yeah, Shu needs around 2.5 seconds per lap to still be able. It's 3 seconds now because there's only 5 laps remaining. Energy there making a move on Racing Arch. That's fresh shots against Old Hearts. But he's not making the move yet. Both drivers seem like missed their braking point for turn 1, while Racing Point got a very difficult moment there. That will be very good for the top speed. Energy there now around the outside. Is he gonna make the move on the Ferrari? Yes, he will. And will we see team orders at AlphaTauri? Because Energy Dan now behind Hookie. A great position for AlphaTauri in P3 and P4.
I think at this point there's no reason for team orders. Me personally, I'm against team orders in general, but even right now there is really no need for team orders. 2.8 seconds separating the two AlphaTauri drivers, and running in 3rd and 4th, it's not a 1-2, but it's basically second best. So Hookie is trying to do everything he can.
13 seconds it is between Pro Oliver and Shuya. It is closing down quite quickly at the moment, but is it gonna be enough? I rarely doubt it's gonna be enough for Shuya to still take Pro Oliver.
In one lap,
the question for how will the tires be for Pro Oliver in the last few laps?
Yeah, and no doubt that the virtual safety car definitely helped PR Oliver with his tire wear a little bit. Of course, it wouldn't have helped as much as a full safety car, but slowing down for a few corners there definitely helped the tire wear. But in just one lap, Shu has gained 4 seconds on PR Oliver. So if he can maintain this pace, Shu might still be able to walk away with this win, but it's going to be close as we've got like 4 laps to go here, and I don't see Shu being able to maintain this pace for the rest of the race. I don't doubt that he could get within, I don't know, maybe 5 seconds of PR Oliver. Of course, I said just a lap ago that I don't think that he would gain 6 seconds on him, and he already has. So we'll have to wait and see what this Red Bull driver can do, but nonetheless, Shu definitely feels like he has a shot, and so he's doing everything he can to close the gap on PR Oliver. And let's not forget, if PR Oliver makes a mistake, that could be it.
The whole top 4 without penalties. Then we have Racing Boys, who has quite some penalties, and Sonic Hawk behind, of course, still needs to take that drive-through. So Ferrari's currently in a good position, but I don't think that position will be quite as good in the final standings.
Riding on board now with Sonic Hawk as he chases down his Ferrari teammate of Racing Podge.
And at the moment, Schupp is doing the 3 seconds per lap that he needs. It's gonna be very, very close. He really needs to maintain this pace, but he doesn't have any ERS left. Oliver got neither, so maybe we're still gonna see a fight at the end. That will be cool.
Shu gained about 3 seconds that last time around, so that might be just quick enough if he can maintain that pace to catch PR Oliver on the last lap, but it's going to be so very close. As you said, he's already gained another second since he's been at the line, so we'll have to wait and see. 7.9 seconds now separating PR Oliver and Shu, and this thing's going to go down to the final lap, maybe even the final corner, and no, it will not. Shu spins.
Yellow.
Oh, Shu.
Is it Shu?
It was, I don't know if it was Shu or not. Shu was able to hang on to it, but 8.7 seconds now separating these two drivers.
This won't be enough for Shu to catch Paul Oliver. That was a spectacular moment. Listen, spinning there. I think we both thought it was one of the front runners, but moving out of the way for Shu now. And it seemed like Energy Dan got past Hooky already.
So Energy Dan on those 4-lap old softs, just trying to salvage his day, see what he can do. Shu 8 seconds separating him and PR Oliver. I think that after him sliding through that corner, that's all she wrote for Shu, and he's not going to be able to catch PR Oliver, but it looks like he's still trying, and he might as well. He's got 3 laps to do it.
I agree with you. I don't think it will be enough for Shu to still catch Pro Oliver. But what will it be? I think the podium will be like it is right now. Pro Oliver P1, Shu P2, and then Energy P3. But then from Hooky on, there are quite a lot of penalties, so that's going to be interesting to see where everyone is ending with penalty-wise.
Durant getting a 3-second time penalty there for multiple warnings. I don't believe that the podium runners at the time being, any of them have 3-second time penalties, so you might be right that what you see is what you get here. But look at this, 6.7 seconds now between PR Oliver and Shu, so Shu still definitely trying to catch this Mercedes driver, and I believe that he can see him now. He can probably see him, and look at this, Kenzo is holding up PR Oliver, so that might actually play into Shu's hands very well. PR Oliver does get away, but at what cost?
They even almost crashed. That was, I didn't saw the first thing, but that was quite bad from Kenzo, I think.
So if Shu can gain 3 seconds a lap, he might just be able to pass Oliver, and Oliver spins! Oliver has spun!
Can you believe it? 12 spun, that is Shu up into the lead. Unbelievable!
Oh my goodness, PR Oliver.
Those tires are done of Pro Oliver. Oh, those lockup costed him, I think.
Oh my goodness.
That costed him the win today. It was looking like the perfect strategy, but maybe it's just too much for those hard tires.
And there is no way that PR Oliver can catch Shu. Shu just has too much pace.
Wow. Incredible. What a crazy ending once again to this GP4 race. Shadow lands against a 5-second penalty and he retires on the pit lane. That's strange because I think he was on the points. 1 lap before the end of the race.
And this isn't over yet. You got to make sure that Shu doesn't make any mistakes as well. Otherwise, we could see what we just saw. But going to take a look now at the two AlphaTauri drivers, Energy Dan and Hooky, who are battling it out for the final spot on the podium position.
Thing is, they can't battle too long because Racing Point is right behind them, only 2.5 seconds away. But Racing Point has quite some penalties.
Looks like Energy Dan on those soft tires has just a little bit more pace, and with only about 1 lap remaining when they get back to the line, I think that Energy Dan is going to hang on to that final podium position unless those tires just fall off dramatically on that last lap, and I just don't see that happening. Shu, though, 4.5 seconds now ahead of PR Oliver. With as long as he doesn't make a mistake, he will win this race. And all because PR Oliver spun in the final 2 corners just a lap ago. And to be fair, he almost got it turned around and stayed in front of Shu, but Shu just had so much momentum that there was no way that PR Oliver was going to hang on to it. But now look at this, Shu having to deal with the Racing Point of Kenzo now. So that's going to at least allow PR Oliver to get a little bit closer, but with a 4.9 second gap, there's still just nothing that Oliver can do. All he can do is hope for second at this point, and that's assuming that Shu does not make contact with this Racing Point machine. It looks like he is going to go by, at least he is trying to go by on the outside. I don't understand why Kenzo isn't letting him go by.
He has blue flags displayed on everything on his dashboard around the track. But that is quite poor driving from Kenzo.
Yeah, I mean, like, I understand the frustration of running P15, but there is nothing to gain racing the leaders like that. But I do believe that out of turn 10, he did pull over and let him by, so we do still see some good sportsmanship there. So Kenzo now not a factor in this win. Shu going to be rounding the final 2 corners here in just a moment. And there you see he had the pace, didn't know if he had enough time. A mistake from PR Oliver, capitalized on by Shu, and the Red Bull driver will win the GP4 Series Bahrain Grand Prix for Speed Force Racing League. PR Oliver coming in second after a heartbreaking spin 2 laps ago. Energy Dan in third, rounding out the podium. Hooky 66 in fourth. Racing Pod going to be dropped down to at least the 6th position as Snellweg gets the 5th position there after time penalties. Sonic Hawk going to cross the line now. Where will he end up? In 8th. You Can Beat Me going to be 9th, assuming no time penalties on his part there. So as he crosses the line, the Renault driver going to hang on to 9th. DJ Clarkson in the Mercedes going to round up in the 10th spot. Durant, he's rounding the final 2 corners now. They're in Sector 3. Getting a little bit loose out of that corner, but hanging on to it. So Durant just trying to do what he can. Crossing the line in 11th. Not a points day for him, but a good effort nonetheless. Bannister, the Racing Point machine, about to cross the line in 12th. Sykomich in the Haas, going to cross the line in 13th. Mason Harris just behind him. In the Renault, our reserve driver, who did not really have a good day, just kind of rode around in 14th all day, but not for lack of trying. It was just a matter of he had a couple spins, had some bad luck, and just wasn't quite able to capitalize, but he's going to wind in the day in the 14th position. So here in just a moment, we will be getting interviews with our top 3 drivers, and there you see Shu getting the driver of the day, and honestly, I think that that is well-deserved, considering how quickly that he was going. So congratulations to Shu on his win here at the Bahrain Grand Prix. One that seemed very unlikely with 5 laps to go. Now a reality for the Red Bull driver as he gets to celebrate on the top spot of the podium. So your official results for the Speed Force Racing GP4 Series Bahrain Grand Prix is Shu, your winner, in the Red Bull, coming in first. PR Oliver second. SFR Energy Dan in third, Hookie in fourth, fifth is Snellweg, Fennyline in sixth, Racing Paj in seventh, Sonichawk in eighth, You Can Beat Me in ninth, DJ Clarkson in 10th, Durant in 11th, Bannister in 12th, Psychomich in 13th, 14th is Mason Harris, Kenzo in 15th, Lizens in 16th, Fouad in 17th, Shadowlancer in 18th, Lumbumbus in 19th in the Williams, and that will do it for the running order here. In just a moment, we will be getting interviews with our top 3 finishers. So is everybody in the party?
Yep. Energy on here.
All right.
Not yet. I don't know if he's joining, but he already left the session, so I don't think he will be joining us.
Who's that, Senna? Shayab.
Yeah.
Get Hookie in if you want. He's in 4th.
Yeah, I can do that.
All right, so just gonna remind you guys to please make sure that you allow your voice to be shared so that the viewers at home can hear you on the stream. And then once you've made sure that you're good for that, we will start with questions.
I hear someone is quite happy.
Yeah!
Now, I'm going to assume that that is Shu that's pretty happy right now.
Yeah.
Hello!
Hey, Hookie.
Oh, Hookie's in.
Alright, so we'll start the interviews now, and we're going to start off with Shu, because he seems very eager to talk and very happy here tonight. So, Shu, just going to, address
he's not in.
Shu is not in.
No, it's 2nd, 3rd, and 4th that are in, mate.
Okay, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. All right, so then let's start off with PR Oliver. Now,
get in there!
Woohoo,
baby, yes! No, I tell you what, I'm actually not in the best of moods. Sorry, I'll let you carry on, mate.
No, you're completely fine. I mean, I understand. We did see what happened with you, and just want to say that you did have a good strategy going, and that it was going to work for you. It was just a matter of a simple mistake that cost you the win tonight. So I'm sure that you're not happy with that, but at least you got second when it could have been a whole lot worse, considering that you could have, someone could have hit you and then you could have lost your right front, and then boom, your day would have been done entirely. So, just tell us a little bit about your choice to go on the hards there for that last stint. And do you think that without the virtual safety car, you would have been able to win it? Or do you think that the virtual safety car really helped you out, and it was just a matter of racing with a lapped car that kind of, put you in a bad position?
Yeah, I think the virtual safety car, first of all, that was I think that helped me out big time. You know what I mean? Because I don't know if you guys could see, but I was running out of fuel, so I had to start saving the fuel big time. And I had a couple of lap cars in front of me, which made my life a little bit tricky. But fair play, they're on fresher tyres. I let him pass, but then all of a sudden I had loads of pace again and tried catching him up. The hard tyres, wow. I mean, I was just praying there wasn't going to be a full-on safety car, I think. And it's funny though, I did not try that strategy at all in practice. I did not go to the soft to the hards. So yeah, it was just trying to keep up with Energy Dan and the boys. And what a race! I think congratulations as well to first place. Well done as well there, Dan. Brilliant drive, mate.
So was it just a matter... Oh, go ahead.
No, sorry, carry on, mate.
Was it just a matter of old tires that caused you to spin, or was there something else that happened? Did you get in the throttle too soon, or was it just the tires didn't have the grip?
Yeah, I think I was thinking about the win already. I was talking to my teammate on the headset, and you know what? That cursed me as soon as I thought, wow, I said to him, this could be my first ever win in Speed Force Racing. And as soon as I said that, literally a sector or two later, I span out. So just lapse of concentration really. The tyres were gone a little bit, but yeah, I'm just so lucky that I didn't actually hit the wall and like make real bad damage. And luckily, Energy Dan I think was in third, so luckily I had time to quickly straighten up the car and get going again. So, but yeah, I enjoyed that. That was brilliant race.
Well, it was definitely a good show for us and for the viewers at home. So now I just noticed Shu has jumped into this session, so we're going to go ahead and get an interview with him.
Okay, mate. Yeah. Congratulations, mate.
Thanks, man.
So Shu, about 5 laps to go in this race. It did not look like a win was going to happen. It was possible, but it just didn't look like it was quite there because it didn't look like you had enough time. So then PR Oliver spins. You're able to get by him. Just kind of walk us through those final few laps and what was going on through your head. And also tell us about your little half spin and how you were able to recover from that, because I expected your pace to drop off significantly after that when you were actually able to hang on to it.
Yeah, so I went in onto the softs with about 6 laps left. In the first lap when I came out of the pits, I don't know how Pro Oliver ended up about 18 seconds ahead of me. That first lap, I done the fastest lap of the race. I took out about 5 seconds. And after that, I was just moving at about 3 seconds a lap, 2 seconds a lap. I think with about 2 or 3 laps to go, I was about 7 seconds behind him. And I was struggling for pace. My ERS was completely finished as well. I was just, that spin as well, I was just driving so hard, just trying to catch him again, and I just didn't manage to do it. And when he did spin and I overtook him, I didn't know that it was him. And until maybe about 2 or 3 seconds later, I looked up and I noticed I was in P1. I thought it was one of the benchmarkers that actually spun. Yeah, but it was quite interesting. It was a lovely race, difficult as well.
And I'm sure that your heart was pounding once you realized that you were leading the race with about 2 to go.
Yeah, it was, and I was just trying to stay on track, man, just to see it through the end. But I had one of those benchmarkers that just didn't want to give me away. So that's why I drove just slow behind him, trying not to make any contact. I didn't want to lose it on the final lap or anything. But yeah.
Yeah, well, congratulations, Shu. You don't have to worry about that. You are officially the winner here tonight. Going to turn our attention now to the 3rd place finisher of Energy Dan. Now, Energy Dan, you got a very good start, and you were actually able to lead there for quite a while. And it looked like you had a little bit of issues, which kind of, dropped you back, but you still recovered and finished 3rd. So just tell us about your race and tell us about that start as well.
Well, I think the start was a mixture of a really good start by myself, but I think Pro Oliver and was it Racing Pod next to me? Can't remember who it was, but yeah, the people on 1st and 2nd, it looked like they kind of didn't get a good start, which made me jump straight through them. And to be honest with the start, I was just trying to just keep my tyres not overheating, try and look after them. But then yeah, by the time I wanted to come in, I was thinking, yeah, if I go any harder on these, then they're just going to die off. So I came in for the mediums. Unfortunately, I just couldn't get the mediums to work. I never have done round here. The mediums really do, I really do struggle on them. So when I saw Pro Oliver coming up behind me on the hards, and he was just eating time out of me, fair play Pro Oliver, by the way. Yeah, it was just...
Cheers, buddy.
I had to dive in and thought, right, I was going to aim and do 9 laps on the soft, but I thought I'm going to have to do 10. I didn't think I was going to catch up to him that much, actually. I mean, when it came down to it, was like 3.6 seconds at the line. I was just hoping he had penalties. But yeah, me and Hooky, we tested the 1 stop and the 2 stop together like 3 or 4 times in the last week, and we'd already planned to do Hooky try a 1 stop and I do a 2 stop just to split the strategies. And yeah, I think it worked out well. I had to slow down a little bit at the end just to allow Hooky to get DRS. I think he was being attacked by Racing Podge, so hopefully that helped him stay in 4th. But yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. Great race by Shayab as well. Fair play on the win, mate. And yeah, Pro Oliver, man. Brilliant strategy,
well done,
mate.
Well done. Yeah, well
Cheers,
done
mate.
too, mate. Great drive.
You too, buddy.
Well, still a good finish for Energy Dan nonetheless. Senna, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I have something to ask to Hooky, who finished in P4 today. Without that 1 spin in Sector 2, Hooky, do you think you would have been on the podium today?
It's a difficult one. I felt the car go in as I spun through sector 2. I thought I may have collected somebody behind me as well, but lucky enough there was enough time for me.
You never told me you spun, teammate.
I had my mic up. I muted my mic because I was swearing. Yeah, but no, I think I could have maybe been in with a bit of better shout for third. But look, it's my best result I've had since racing in league racing, so it's just onwards and upwards for me now at the minute. So fingers crossed for more results.
Alright, yeah. I don't have
good
anything
drive
else
there,
to
Hooky,
add.
mate. Good drive, mate.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Nice one.
Yeah, good drive. P4 is not anything to be disappointed in at all. It is a good points day and so close to that podium.
Yeah, I keep trying now, and that's it. Unfortunately, I crashed myself out in Australia last week. I just got the better of the idea. I was leading the race, 4 laps to go, and spun myself out. So in a way, made sure that I'm not quite ready for it, but here we go. On to next week.
Hey, and on to next week we shall do, but until then, we're going to have to end this here. So congratulations to the podium finishers. Congratulations to Hooky on his P4. Congratulations to Shuab on his win. PR Oliver on second. Energy Dan in third. I'm Tim. I am with Senna. And to everyone out there, thank you so much for watching. So good morning, good evening, good day, good night, wherever you are in the world. And just be sure that you have fun. Good night.